Good morning. I want you to think about something. Imagine standing in front of a giant library. Every book in that library represents a life. Some books are full of adventure, love, triumph, and achievement. Others are thin, half-written, unfinished. Now, here's the truth. Your life is one of those books, and you only get one copy. There are no backups, no second editions, no take two. Life has no duplicates. That means the time you waste, the opportunities you ignore, the dreams you delay, they don't get reprinted. This is it. And if you don't write your story with urgency, you might wake up one day and realize the pages have run out. You see, most people don't fail because they don't have talent. They don't fail because they don't have potential. They fail because they think they have time. They say, I'll start next week. I'll chase my dreams next year. I'll wait until things are perfect. But next week turns into next month. Next month turns into next year. And before they know it, their best years are behind them. Let me tell you something. Tomorrow is not promised. You don't have to be old to run out of time. You don't get to choose when your last page is written. And if you want your dreams, you've got to go after them now. Not when it's comfortable. Not when the timing is right. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I'm not ready. I don't have the resources. I don't have the connections. I don't have the confidence. You don't need to be ready. You need to be willing. Because the truth is, nobody ever feels fully ready. Every person who has ever accomplished something great had to start before they were ready. They had to walk into rooms they didn't feel qualified to be in. They had to take risks they weren't sure would pay off. They had to act before the stars lined up. And that's what urgency is all about. Urgency is not about being reckless. It's about recognizing that the clock is ticking and you cannot waste another moment. Now, maybe you've been through some things. Maybe you've failed. Maybe you've been rejected. Maybe life has hit you so hard that you don't even want to get back up. But listen to me. You are still here. You're still breathing. That means your story isn't over. That means the fight is still on. And sometimes life will test you, not to show your weakness, but to reveal your strength. It will strip away your excuses and leave you with one choice: rise or quit. I remember talking to someone who told me, I don't know what my dream is. I said, start with what's burning inside you. Start with what keeps you up at night. Start with what you can't stop thinking about when you're at your day job, wishing you were somewhere else. If you don't have a dream, you're just existing. An existence without purpose is slow death. A dream gives your life direction. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning when you don't feel like it. It gives you energy when the world tries to drain you. But a dream without urgency, that's just a wish. The people who make history, the people who break barriers, the people who live fully, they don't treat their dreams like an option. They treat them like oxygen. They understand that they can't go another day without moving closer to what they were born to do. Here's what I want you to do. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You have everything you need inside you to start, even if you don't have everything you need to finish. When you live with urgency, you stop making excuses. You stop saying, I can't because, and start saying, I must because. You start showing up earlier, staying later, studying harder, taking more chances, and refusing to let fear make your decisions for you. Fear is the dream killer. It whispers, what if you fail? What if they laugh at you? What if it doesn't work? But let me ask you this. What if you succeed? What if they applaud you? What if it works beyond your wildest imagination? You owe it to yourself to find out. I'm not saying the road will be easy. It won't. There will be times when you want to quit, when the weight feels too heavy, when the vision seems too far away. But that's when you remind yourself life has no duplicates. You don't get to start over. You don't get another copy. So take the shot. Write the book. Launch the business. Go back to school. Tell them you love them. Forgive the person who hurt you. Apply for that job. Start the workout. Book the ticket. Do it now. Because here's the painful truth. The cemetery is the richest place on earth. It's full of dreams that were never realized, ideas that never became reality, talents that were never shared, songs that were never sung. People died with their dreams still inside them. Don't let that be your story. Don't let the fear of failing rob the world of the gift you have. Somebody is waiting for what you've been carrying inside you. Somebody's breakthrough is connected to your courage. Somebody's hope is tied to your dream. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. This is your moment. Not next week, not next month, not someday. This is your now. Push past your fear. Push past your excuses. Push past the opinions of people who gave up on their own dreams and want you to do the same. Live with urgency. Chase your dreams like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The life you're dreaming of is not going to come to you. You've got to go get it. And when you do, when you live each day knowing you only get one copy of this book called Life, you'll write a story worth reading, a story that inspires others, a story that says, I was here and I lived full and I died empty. So go out there and give the world the best of you, not what's left of you, because your life has no duplicates. And your time is now. You only get one life. No rewinds, no replays. That truth should hit you like a lightning bolt, because when it really sinks in, it changes the way you see every single day. This isn't a practice run. You don't get to call time out and start over. Every second that passes is gone forever. Every conversation, every chance, every opportunity either gets seized in the moment or it slips into the past where you can't touch it again. Life is not a video game where you can reset the level and try a different strategy. It's not a movie you can pause while you figure things out. It's live, unscripted, and unforgiving to those who think they have unlimited time. The problem is that most people live as if they're going to get a second shot. They put their dreams on the shelf because they believe they'll come back to them someday. They waste their energy on things that don't matter, thinking they'll make time for what does later. They let fear, doubt, and comfort dictate their choices because they believe they can always fix it tomorrow. But tomorrow is a gamble. It is never guaranteed. The harsh truth is you could be in the middle of your someday list when life decides you've reached your last page. When you understand that you only get one life, suddenly the little excuses start to sound ridiculous. Suddenly, the hesitation you've been carrying feels heavier than the risk you're afraid to take. You realize that every dream you delay is one step closer to becoming a regret. The I'll start next year mindset becomes dangerous because years pass faster than you think. What felt like plenty of time becomes a lifetime of what ifs. Think about how much time we waste on trivial distractions, scrolling endlessly, arguing about things that don't matter, replaying the past instead of shaping the future. Every hour you give to something meaningless is an hour you'll never get back. That's why urgency matters. That's why living deliberately matters. You have to guard your time like it's treasure, because it is. There are people in hospital beds right now who would give anything for just one more day, one more chance, one more opportunity to do the thing they always said they'd get around to. You already have that day, but how are you using it? If you were to treat your life like the rare, one of a kind event it is, you would stop tolerating mediocrity in your choices in your effort, in your relationships. You would stop giving your time to people who drain you instead of fuel you. You would stop putting yourself last, thinking you can get to your dreams after you've taken care of everyone else. You would understand that your life is a once in history opportunity to create something extraordinary, to leave a mark that can't be erased. That awareness changes how you show up. You walk into the room differently. You speak with more conviction. You take bolder steps. You stop waiting for validation because you realize the only permission you need is your own. You stop asking, what will people think? And start asking, what will I think if I don't do this? You recognize that there are no guarantees that the chance you have right now will still be there tomorrow. You only get one life. And that means this is the moment to do the thing you've been putting off, to have the conversation you've been avoiding, to take the leap you've been afraid of, because the clock is ticking whether you acknowledge it or not. And once those moments are gone, you can't rewind them, you can't replay them, you can't get them back. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Start with what you have now. Perfection is a trap that has stolen more dreams than failure ever has. People sit on the sidelines telling themselves they'll take action when the stars align, when the conditions are ideal, when they feel 100% ready. They tell themselves they'll begin when they have more money, more time, more experience, more connections. But here's the truth. The perfect time doesn't exist. It never has, and it never will. There will always be something that isn't quite right. There will always be a reason to delay. And if you keep waiting for everything to line up, you'll spend your life waiting. Starting with what you have now means accepting the reality that your current resources, skills, and circumstances are enough to take the first step. You don't need the entire staircase to take the first step. You don't need to see the whole plan for the next 5 years before you make a move today. The people who succeed aren't the ones who waited until they had it all figured out. They're the ones who moved forward when they didn't. They used what they had where they were, and they learned the rest along the way. The danger of waiting for the perfect time is that time keeps moving whether you're ready or not. Every moment you spend preparing without acting is a moment you could be gaining real experience. Action teaches you in ways that planning never can. You can study for years, imagining every scenario, and still learn more in a single day of actually doing than in all that time of thinking. Experience is the greatest teacher, but you can't get experience until you start. When you start now, you begin building momentum. Momentum is powerful because once you're in motion, it's easier to stay in motion. Waiting, on the other hand, breeds hesitation, and hesitation kills opportunity. The opportunities you have today may not be there tomorrow. The doors that are open now might close while you're still deciding if you're ready to walk through them. Starting with what you have also forces you to be resourceful. When you don't have everything you think you need, you become creative. You find solutions you wouldn't have considered if you had every advantage. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history came from people who started with very little, but refused to let that stop them. They didn't see lack. They saw possibility. They didn't complain about what they didn't have. They maximized what they did have. Waiting for perfect conditions often comes from fear. Fear of failing. Fear of being judged. Fear of not measuring up. But the truth is, starting imperfectly is far less dangerous than not starting at all. Failure can teach you, shape you, and guide you. Inaction can only leave you stuck. And the longer you wait, the heavier the weight of regret becomes. There will never be a perfect moment to chase your dreams. Life will always be messy. You will always have other responsibilities, other problems, other reasons to delay. But the people who change their lives and the lives of others are those who decide to move forward anyway. They don't waste years polishing a plan that never leaves their mind. They act, they adjust, and they grow. You may feel unprepared, underqualified, or overwhelmed. But the truth is, you'll probably feel that way no matter when you start. Waiting for the day when you feel completely confident is like waiting for rain in the desert. You could be waiting forever. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. It grows every time you take a step forward despite not feeling ready. Fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. Fear doesn't just whisper in your ear. It seeps into your thoughts, shaping your decisions before you even realize it's there. It convinces you to play small, to stay where it's safe, to avoid risks that could change everything. Fear tells you to wait until you're certain, to avoid situations where you might look foolish, to protect yourself from disappointment. And while you're busy obeying it, opportunities slip away unnoticed, and your dreams slowly wither in the background. Failure at least gives you something to work with. When you fail, you gain experience, you learn lessons, you build resilience. You can adjust, improve, and try again. Fear, on the other hand, stops you before you start. It robs you of the chance to learn. It leaves you in the same place year after year, telling yourself stories about why it wasn't the right time, why it wouldn't have worked, why you're better off not trying. And those stories might comfort you for a while, but deep down, you know they're lies you told yourself to avoid stepping into the unknown. Fear doesn't always look like panic or trembling hands. Sometimes it looks like endless planning without action. Sometimes it looks like convincing yourself you're not ready. Sometimes it hides behind the mask of being practical or realistic. But underneath it all, fear is doing what it does best, protecting you from discomfort at the cost of your potential. It promises you safety, but what it delivers is stagnation. The dangerous part about fear is how rational it can sound in your own head. It gives you reasons that feel logical. You might lose money. People might laugh. You could get rejected. But here's the truth. You might lose money. People might laugh. You could get rejected. That's life. The difference is that those who act despite fear get to find out if they can succeed, while those who obey fear never know. Every dream worth chasing comes with uncertainty. You can't predict every outcome, and you can't avoid every setback. But living in fear guarantees one outcome. You stay exactly where you are. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to leave. Fear grows stronger the more you feed it. Every time you choose safety over opportunity, you're teaching your mind that fear's voice is the one to trust. Over time, that voice becomes your default. You start underestimating yourself. You stop setting big goals. You talk yourself out of possibilities before you've even explored them. And the saddest part is that you might not even realize it's happening because fear isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet suggestion that seems harmless until you look back and realize years have passed and you've barely moved forward. The only way to shrink fear is to act in its presence. Waiting for fear to disappear before you move is like waiting for the wind to stop before you set sail. You'll be waiting forever. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something matters more than the fear. And when you start making those decisions consistently, you realize that fear loses its power the moment you confront it. Fear will try to convince you that avoiding risk protects your dream. But in reality, it's slowly killing it. A dream that never gets acted on remains just that. A dream fragile and untouchable. Failure can break your heart, yes, but it can also open new doors, teach you who you are, and push you towards something better than you imagined. Fear gives you nothing in return Accept the quiet ache of wondering what could have been. Your dream is not a hobby. Treat it like oxygen. A hobby is something you do when you have extra time, extra energy, or extra resources. It's something you fit into your life after everything else is taken care of. Oxygen is different. Oxygen is a priority. Without it, nothing else matters. Your dream has to be treated with that same level of necessity because it's not just something nice to have. It's the thing that makes you feel alive. When you treat your dream like a hobby, it gets whatever is left over after work, after chores, after everyone else's needs have been met. It gets the scraps of your time and attention, and scraps aren't enough to build something extraordinary. The truth is, the world doesn't owe you the time to pursue your dream. You have to carve it out yourself. That might mean waking up earlier, staying up later, saying no to distractions, or stepping away from activities that aren't moving you forward. Your dream won't grow in a climate of neglect. It needs focus, effort, and consistency. It needs you to protect it from the things that compete for your attention every day. If you only work on it when it's convenient, it will stay stuck in the same place for years, and you'll start to believe that it's impossible when really it's just starving for commitment. Think about how you treat something essential to your survival. You don't negotiate whether or not you'll breathe today. You don't put it off until next week. You make sure it happens no matter what's going on in your life. That's the level of seriousness you need to bring to your dream. It's not about waiting for the right circumstances. It's about creating them. When your dream becomes oxygen, you stop making excuses for why you can't work on it. You stop telling yourself you'll get to it later. Later is the enemy of progress. Later turns into never, and never turns into regret. The only time you have to make your dream real is now. And the only way to do it is to show up for it every single day. There will be days when it's hard. There will be days when you're tired, uninspired, or frustrated. But if you understand that your dream is a part of who you are, you'll show up anyway. You won't wait for motivation to find you because you know that taking action is what creates motivation. You'll work when it's raining, when it's inconvenient, when no one is cheering you on, because you know your dream deserves that level of devotion. Treating your dream like oxygen also changes how you handle setbacks. When breathing becomes difficult, you fight for air. You don't just accept suffocation. In the same way, when obstacles block your path, you look for solutions, alternatives, and new strategies. You don't quit because it's uncomfortable. You adapt because it's necessary. That mindset separates those who achieve their dreams from those who talk about them. Every time you choose your dream over an excuse, you're telling yourself and the world that this matters. You're proving that you're willing to sacrifice for it, that you're committed to nurturing it until it's strong enough to stand on its own. And the truth is, the more you prioritize it, the more it grows. And the more it grows, the more it feeds you in return. Your dream is not just something you want to do. It's something you need to do to feel fully alive. When you start treating it with that kind of urgency and importance, it stops being a distant possibility and starts becoming a living, breathing reality. Live full so you can die empty. Living full means squeezing every drop of potential out of the life you've been given. It means using your talents, your skills, your ideas, and your passions while you have the chance, instead of storing them away for someday. Too many people go through life half engaged, holding back, saving their best for later, thinking there will be a perfect moment to give it everything they've got. But later is never promised. And if you keep waiting for it, you risk leaving this world with your greatest contributions still inside you. Dying empty is about reaching the end of your life knowing you gave it all. It's about knowing there's nothing left you wanted to say, nothing you wanted to try, nothing you wanted to create that you didn't give yourself the chance to pursue. It's the opposite of dying with regret. Regret is heavy. It sits in your chest and whispers, what if? Dying empty means you answered that question in your lifetime. To live full, you have to stop treating your dreams like optional side projects and start treating them as non-negotiable parts of who you are. That means showing up for them even when it's inconvenient, even when no one else believes in them, even when it would be easier to settle. Living full requires courage because it often means going against the grain. It means not following the path others expect you to follow and being willing to face criticism or misunderstanding for the sake of living in alignment with your true self. It's easy to think you have more time. That's one of the greatest lies life tells us, that we can get to the important things later. But the truth is, time is slipping by right now. The things you postpone today may be the very things you never get to do at all. Living full means recognizing that each day is an opportunity to use what you've been given to invest in the relationships, the work, and the causes that matter most. It also means taking risks. Playing safe may keep you comfortable, but it will never help you discover your full capacity. Every person who has left a lasting mark on the world had to take chances, step into uncertainty, and push themselves beyond their comfort zone. Living full isn't about being reckless, but it is about refusing to let fear dictate your choices. It's about choosing to act even when the outcome is uncertain, because the cost of inaction is too high. Living full requires giving your best in every area of life, in your relationships, your career, your creativity, your personal growth. It means not waiting until a crisis forces you to appreciate what you have. It means showing love, expressing gratitude, and being present right now. Too many people wait until it's too late to tell someone they care, to mend a broken relationship, or to take that step they've been postponing. When you live full, you also inspire others to do the same. People notice when someone is truly alive, when they're not just existing, but actively creating, learning, loving, and giving. Your example becomes a spark that encourages others to stop holding back in their own lives. The idea of dying empty is not about rushing to do everything at once. It's about being intentional with the time you have. It's about looking at your gifts and asking yourself, am I using these fully? Am I pouring them out into the world? Or am I keeping them locked away? The goal is to give so much of yourself to life that by the time it's over, there's nothing left that you wish you had done.